Hello you guys, what's up and welcome back to another color tutorial. I'm really excited for this one because we are going to be talking all things bleach and tones. Cue the Tana Mojo little audio if you're on TikTok, like I always hear every time I hear that. But anyway, we are going to be doing a platinum bleach and tone touch up on my client today. I was showing you guys her before a little bit. She's naturally pretty dark and it has pretty thick, coarse hair as well. So keep that all in mind with all the things that we do today. I am able to do these bleach and tones on her pretty frequently without compromising her hair. Now, to start off, what I do is I like to start off with like their natural part, as long as like they part down the center for the most part. If they do a heavy side part, then I would suggest just to keep things even as possible, so maybe part them down the center for this part. But I start by getting the both sides outlined from the like an inch, like half inch back from the hairline all the way through like the crown. It just helps to keep my applications clean on both sides. I don't go all the way down to either hairline though, because if you guys know much with lifting, hairlines lift fairly fast. And so I wait until I'm actually like in that section to touch the hairlines of both the front and the back hairline as well. I like to start in the front and the top because there's not as much natural heat that is going to be touching these areas. So in my experience, they take a little bit longer to naturally lift. So I just like to start here. And as you guys are seeing, I'm going in a diagonal back sectioning. I feel like this helps me being able to kind of just get my application very clean. And I am also able to kind of like hit what I've learned with bleach and tones is I don't like to spend all day on a certain section. I really just like to, if you guys kind of see, I just kind of like to like stamp my product on. And actually with that, as you see, I kind of start on the new section and I stamp, and then I kind of work my way up to that section that is flipped up, and I will like kind of do what I call like back saturate a little bit as well. But I'm really just stamping with a little bit of a C-shape motion. Very, very subtle C-shape. Nothing with like a heavy flick of the wrist. You know, we're not doing any blending work here. And I highly advise you to, you know, not do anything too crazy with that, because that's just asking for overlapping. And actually what I like to do is, if you guys kind of see in some of my sections, I will kind of like start my application right at the demarcation line, and then I will brush upwards towards the root so that I know, instead of like going, you know, kind of like the standard downwards motion, so I kind of just like reverse my motions and I go upwards. And I feel like that helps me personally prevent overlapping a little bit more. And when I am back saturating on the other side, I feel like since I'm starting at a lower spot, which is normally where I am starting in that newer section at, I feel like, again, same thing, even though I am like kind of like ending my brush movement there, I've had like a longer range of motion, if that makes sense. And then what you see me doing here now is I am working on like the hairline area. I normally like to do this last so that, again, it just doesn't stay with lightener on all day. Plus, this is kind of where the head shape goes to kind of change a little bit too. So sometimes it's a little bit easier, I've learned, to kind of isolate out the hairline area and to wait until later to do it. I do still like to do it to stay organized. I do still like to do it while I am working on that current section. And then what I do like to do then is, when I am done applying everything, I will bring everything down. And every few sections, if the bleach has like naturally moved off the scalp a little bit, which I've learned, I think it's just common. I think it's just how hair and scalps and like the heat reacts to the bleach a little bit. I will go back in and just kind of like tap it with a little bit more lightener. I think especially since I have to flip up the sections, I think that's what kind of causes that then too. And then I will use a cling free wrap and have that just kind of like chill there for the rest of like the application time. Using a wrap over top helps to keep the lightener damp the whole time, which helps to keep things consistently processing. You guys will not believe it, but I actually only use 10 volume on her all throughout the scalp. That is obviously going to be the most gentlest way to do her bleach and tones without compromising her hair. But the reason why I'm able to do that is because I do make sure that my lightener stays processing the whole time. And it takes me about an hour to apply, and then she normally has to sit for a full additional hour than 2. So lightener sitting on her head for 2 hours at this point. And like I said, we have had no damage at all with any of these. And the reason why I recommend that is so that you can use 10 volume and not be worried about the over processing of her hair, because since she does have thicker hair, it does take me a little longer to apply it. Now, I do recommend, if you are going to be doing bleach and tones, to do what you can. You don't want to rush through your application and compromise your work. But I do definitely recommend, this is definitely not like a time for you to like overly take your time. And if that is the case, I would definitely recommend potentially starting in the back. And then if the back does finish faster than the front, that's going to be a little bit easier for you to rinse out. Like I did say, I am able, with my lightener, I am able to still take an hour to apply and then an hour to process, and everything processes evenly. However, if you do feel like you are going to be taking a little bit longer than an hour to apply, and I would definitely plan for something like this, because this is still processing out in open air. Yes, the cling wrap does help, but it's not getting incubated really by much heat besides that wrap. So I definitely would plan on around an hour, even if they do have like a little bit of a thinner texture, or if they're a little bit lighter, maybe 45 minutes. So keeping that in mind, if you do feel like you are going to be taking a little longer to apply, it might not be a bad idea while you're getting started with these to start in the back so that you can rinse the back out a little sooner than the front. And then speaking of the back, now that I am working my way to it, I kind of like to do them both sides at the same time, because her hair texture definitely does change and her hair's color changes. Like the top part of her whole head is a little bit darker than the underneath part of her head. It's like she's like a level 4 at her top, and that's where her hair's a little bit thicker at. And then around like her hairline area, she's naturally closer to like a level 5, and her texture is a little bit thinner. So with those two things in mind, I want everything to make sure that like it processes as evenly as possible. So I like to just go back and forth and piggyback from the like side to side and apply that all at the same time, so that I know texture and natural color in mine, it's going to all be like taken care of at the same time. I kind of tried to do that in the front for her a little bit, but I felt like that was kind of hard with it being like two fully different sides of the head by like the ears and stuff like that. I did kind of find that it wasn't as easy for me to make sure I really evenly got everything. And this is obviously like not a place for like messy applications. I mean, it doesn't need to be like aesthetically perfect by any means, but I definitely don't think this is a time for like a messy application situation. That's just asking for over processing too. So I get the sides applied a lot faster than I do the back. Here we are at about like a 40-minute check-in. And what I do to check to see how things are lifting is I will use my tail comb, and I will just basically like push the lightener off. And that was me comparing that. Like the front was at the full pale yellow level 9. The back was like at like an 8.5. It was yellow, and it was a pretty bright yellow, but it needed a little bit more time. So I was just demonstrating basically how I like to do that. Speaking of the tail comb, you guys probably saw that I was using my tail comb on my non-dominant hand and using that to section as I was applying the lightener. And I wanted to explain really quick why I do that for my bleach and tones, because I'm normally not a comb sectioning girl, but using that instead of clips or the brush that I was using helps to, again, keep it from being a messy lightener application situation, and it keeps everything very neat. I try not to get my brush or my clip super messy in these lightener applications to make it just like a neat quality experience process for clients, and just to help keep their hair healthy then too, preventing any overlapping or anything unnecessary like that. Why I do like to let things sit for the full hour, because this is definitely one of those that, to make sure that they really like their hair, like the entirety of their maintenance period in between appointment to appointment, you definitely want to make sure that like your toner is not like covering too much yellow unintentionally. If you guys saw her before, she was still, yes, her toner had faded for sure, but she was still very bright. And that is thanks to the lightener that I use. And that's also thanks to just getting her, again, consistently to that clear level 9. Lightener that I did use, by the way, was Oligo Extra Blonde Lightener, and I used 10 volume all around. Now we are at the bowl, and so what I like to do is I get her fully shampooed first with a clarifying shampoo. Normally I like to use L'Oreal Metal Detox for this, because I feel like this actually like takes out the impurities of her hair. It actually like kind of like brightens the hair a little bit too. I feel like some clarifying shampoos don't really do that. And then I like to go in and do a pre-toning with Fanola No Yellow shampoo. And as you guys are seeing with me rinsing it out, that it like, I really could, if I wanted to, just leave it at this. This looks really good. It is, she just likes to be like a really bright, like cool, slightly cool tone blonde. And so with this in mind, I like to get it where like my toner is just like the icing on the cake, and it's not like, you know, the full cake itself, if that makes sense. So by this point, everything is almost done. By this point, everything honestly looks really good. Could leave it at this and it would still be great, but I just like to have the toner like really just like tie things together. So my toning formula that I used was Oligo Colura Gloss, and I use 9AI, a little bit of 9A, and 9GI. Most of my formula was 9AI. I did an ounce of that. I did like 3/4 of an ounce of 9GI, and then I did 1/4 of an ounce of 9A, just to like give it a little bit more of a burst of cool. And I do like to let this sit on for her, I'd say like 3 to 5 minutes. Nothing too crazy. The 9A definitely does kind of like speed up the processing, in my opinion. I don't really feel like I let my toners with 9A sit on too long, because that's the only toner I feel like from Colura Gloss that can overtone if you're not careful with it. And then I gave another full shampoo, and then obviously like condition then as normal. A little tip I do have too is when you're first rinsing bleach and tones out, they may prefer lukewarm water. So keep that in mind too. I normally like to ask them the first rinse or two. It might not be a bad idea to have them in lukewarm water just to kind of help their scalp balance back. But here is the after. I am obsessed with it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something new over here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.